Hello, everyone. My name is JD Calderon, and this is Indie Comics Explained. Yet again, I brought on another fantastic group of independent comic book creators. So please hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video, let everybody know we're here. And special guest, co-host, the best of the co-hosts. Sorry, everybody. But, Jay got caught out on the island with family duties. Got to do what he got to do. But still brought on the best co-host.
I put on pants for this. Actually, no, I didn't. Hello, everyone. My name is Daphne Lage, and I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. And I have been self-publishing fantasy comics with this miscreant since 1992. And I am known for the furry fantasy adventure Tall Tales. Actually, we are known for that. And I'm also known for my medieval fantasy drama, Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, because we're all about the fantasy soap operas here. Both of Tall Tales and Eagle Raven you can read on Webtoon.
All right, very nice. And we're bringing on a special pinch hitter because Tom is driving like a lunatic across country to make it to San Diego Comic-Con. So we got as a replacement. What's up, Frank? Or Fred. Why do I keep calling you Frank?
I don't know, man. That's not nearly as good as an intro as Daphne got. Like, I didn't even get my name right.
I know. Damn.
And to think I put on pants for this, now I'm going to take them off.
There you go.
So, yeah. But glad to be here. Thank you.
Fred, introduce yourself.
Oh, yes. I'm Fred Schwartz, the writer and creator of Fisticuffs, owner and operator of Schwartz Art, LLC. And I am happy to be here today. Thank you.
Cool. Should introduce the dog, though.
Oh, that's Parker. That's my best friend and loudmouth sidekick. He will be a bit loud, but I'm going to try to mute him.
He's not locked
discreetly.
out of the room, is he? Or is he?
No, he's on the bed right now. So Daphne, we haven't worked together before. So my stock joke is I like to say that he's an attention hound.
I see.
Yes. So the fact that I'm paying attention to you guys, he's just on the bed. He's playing with the tire right now, and he's knocking the tire off the bed, and he wants me to play tire with him, and it's just not happening right now.
The second he sees the headphones, right?
Every time. Yeah. As soon as I say hi to somebody, that he gets jealous. Like it's he's a person, all right.
Cool. What's up, Kevin? Please.
Hey, what's up, JD? Nice to meet everyone. My name is Kevin Crook of Crook Comics. I'm the writer, creator of my series Premonition and the Fates of Destiny, my first trade paperback featuring the first 5 issues of my novel out now on Kickstarter.
All right, cool. Mark.
Hey, everybody. Mark Florio, co-owner, co-creator of the Iron Golem and Bone Frog Comics. I'm the writer, plotter, and cover artist for the series. That is out right now with 11 days left on Kickstarter.
All right, cool. Last but certainly not least, Mr. Dudley.
I'll give it the Detroit Gritty. What up, though? My name's Mark Dudley. I'm the big brother, because I hate the term CEO. I'm the big brother over at Imaginos Workshop. We're a production company that does film. We do we do short film. We write scripts, and we do indie comics. I'm the art director over at Shining Otaku Manga. Obviously they do OEL manga. So, again, I love coming on here. I love the energy, and I got some stuff to announce later.
All right, very nice. All right, cool. I think everybody's seen the show question, right? It's a bit of it's a bit of one I think we all think about once in a while. And the question is, why are we still here? And the second half of that question is, what drives you? Right? Because those go hand in hand. So, all right, Mr. Dudley, you've been on long enough. Last man in, first man up.
I'll be damn. Okay. So, look, me and Daphne talk about this all the time while I'm at work. So, look, man, my thing is this. It's okay. I've been drawing since I was 3 years old. My mother will tell me this, right? But I love the medium. And the joke is, and I'm sure a lot of us, we talk about money and funds and all this, but my goal is to be able to say, damn, I can't believe they pay me for this. Number one. So I'll be drawing anyway. I love making stories. If I wasn't getting paid for it, I'd do it for free. All right. You know, I mean, that's just who I am. It runs. My wife says it runs in my veins. It runs in my veins. Right. I don't know. What's the second part of the question?
What drives you?
What drives me is telling stories, man. I mean, you know, look, we got it. So, and imagine those, because we do screenwriting and stuff, and we do comics and stuff, manga, right? Every time we come with an idea, we put it in the vault. Looking at that vault a couple of days ago, I couldn't live 10 lifetimes and do everything in that vault. Right? But the fact that it's there, the fact that the ideas are there, we like coming up with ideas. We like seeing how they would work in the real world, stuff like that. You know, just being creative, that's the driving force. Because you work this 9 to 5 every day, man. You know, you work for a law firm, I work for a law firm. You already know the grind, right? Mm-hmm. So watching these people represent people who, you know, probably got their money in very dubious ways. And just watching that, you know, you need an outlet, man. And that creativity is the outlet, you know, that makes you realize that, you know, your real world don't have to be their real world. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's pretty much what I'm driven by.
All right. Cool. Mark, you're up. What are your thoughts?
I'm up. Why am I still here? So when I originally pitched the idea for my series, comics are just always in my blood since I was a kid. I learned to read with comics and comic strips. So went to the military because of that black and white idea of right and wrong because of comic books, and lifelong educator teaching kids writing and just trying to inspire them through comics and other forms of media. But I pitched my story to a publisher. They love the idea, and we're working through our first issue with Mike Zapsik, my co-creator, and we get dropped, just completely dropped. And why am I still here? Because former military, determined to never lay down, not take no for an answer. I said, I'll do it myself. We'll do it ourselves. And it's just been, you know, it's a passion. It's a project that we were not going to let go. And what was the second question again?
What drives you?
What drives me? So I touched on that. Wanting to fulfill this dream. When Mike and I came up with this idea in the pitch, we said, we want to write something that we want to read. You know, something that would get you excited. Where's this going? What's happening? And that absolutely drives me to bring these ideas out into the world and to be part of this community and just loving it. And they're going to have to drag me out. They're going to literally have to drag my dead body out because we're just having a blast.
Good deal.
Good. Kevin, what are your thoughts?
Mark, you're getting paid for this?
No, I funded the whole thing myself.
I was talking to Dudley over here. Mark Dudley.
Oh, I started out role playing games. I still do role playing game art, so I'll get paid for that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, this is part of my goal, and not only the love of the game, but to eventually get paid, you know, for what I love to do. So what drives me is trying to create original ideas, and I'm not stopping because I figured I could do this to begin with. So just being able to do this is amazing, and I figured out how to do that in the past 3 years. So basically what keeps me going is I haven't hit all my goals. So I'm looking to possibly get, you know, I'm full-time with the publisher and also will be working with Phil Ball Distribution this summer with Print on Demand. So I'm hoping that helps get me out to comic shops across the country instead of the local cons that I do here in Ohio. And so that's that. Just trying to hit my goals, and plus I got a great story to keep telling. So I'm hoping that to catch, you know, work available, or you know, for people to catch up on.
Right.
Fred, what are your thoughts?
Well, the other day when we were doing a show, Rosario told me that his wife really likes watching me on these shows because I'm so optimistic. So expect an answer that's almost detached from reality. You know what? Why don't we skip me for a second? Because he dropped his tire for a second. Why don't we do Daphne real quick? I'm going to go get him his tire, and then I'll go next.
All right. Wow.
That's why I think like W.C. Fields had said once that there are two things that an actor should never work with kids and dogs.
Dogs. Yes, he did say that.
Why am I still here? Because nobody can stop me. That's why. That's why. It's like I know that Tom likes to stink up the air with who cares, but you see the beauty of nobody cares is that nobody can stop you either. Because what's funny what's funny is that like ever since JD got me into this, I've never been able to stop. So why stop now?
You blaming JD? JD did it?
Yes.
Yeah,
He came into the van. He opened it up and he goes, hey kid, you want to do furry comics? And I go, yeah.
You
This is normal, right?
Yeah.
This is normal.
Let me tell you, I was out there corrupting minds. Let me tell you.
All you gotta do is hit it once, girl. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. That's all it took. And like I said, it's like I haven't stopped then, so why stop now?
And it went along with here's a copy of How to Draw the Marvel Way, and here's a copy of Burns' Hogarth Anatomy.
Right, exactly.
There you go.
Who needs church?
Church. Yeah, who needs church, right?
Yep.
Oh, and in terms of what keeps me going,
I got nowhere else to go. I got nowhere else to go.
I mean, it's part that, but it's part also main is like, I like what else would I be doing? Like, I really cannot imagine myself doing anything else.
Right.
And especially since it's like I got like you know how they say that it's like a person has two wolves inside of them. I mean, I kind of have like two directors inside of me. I got Martin Scorsese going cinema, and then I got John Waters in the other corner. So it's like, and John Waters is like going cinema. So it's like it's just like this allows me like this creative expression that I don't know, it's like I just can't find anywhere else, and actually having a real job is overrated. So I'd rather be doing this, and even in the time, you know what, it's like my worst, even at my worst at doing this, I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else. Like, I'd rather fight through this, and get the work done, and get these books done than anything else. So that's my answer. And yeah, it is his fault.
I take the blame. I'll take the blame on that one.
All right.
That's fine. Fred.
First of all, Daphne, amazing to Devils and Angels and stuff. When I first started pitching Fisticuffs, I described it as if Martin Scorsese and John Waters collaborated on a comic book. So that's exactly the sense of humor and style that my book is. But to answer the question, I'm still new to this, right? I haven't had my idealism stomped out yet. I still believe that, like, that Fisticuffs are, is I'm sure we all do, but like I still believe that it's like special, and it means it will get to a point where it opens doors, and I guess this goes along with the what drives me and stuff. But like I'm a huge like nerd for like the history of all this, right? Like I love comic like history and documentaries and stuff, and like I just want to be a part of that. Like I would love it for one day if like while they're doing one of these documentaries one day there's like a little detour about like something I contributed to this art form that I love so much. So it's like, yeah, I still have the like disillusionment where like I can, make it as far as I want to go and stuff. And I, until that is proven wrong, I'm gonna keep going. And even if not, any consolation prize where you get to do this is like the best prize in the world. Like, even if, I believe it was you, sir, the other day who was talking about aiming for the moon and you get the stars.
Yeah.
And that's totally true. Like whatever happens, like getting to make this, has been like a dream come true. But like my goal is to be a part of this like medium and this history that like I really love and care about. I used to believe oh God, the tire again. He's gonna be unstoppable tonight. I'll stop now. But that's my answer.
All right. Well, while he gets his dog his time. I think for myself, it's similar to Daphne's video there, right too. But in truth, it's similar, to what Mark is saying. Is like, I got the day job, right? I've had it for a long time. I need something to come home to and relax. In the one place. It's funny, as much as I don't like lettering, right? It's the thing I do the most, right? Aside from writing. So there's writing and there's lettering, right? And I'm doing a lot of lettering because I have a 200-page story to letter. So I'm like I'm almost halfway through it. And it's like, but it calms me, right? It's the thing that brings me peace. I sit there, I'm like, and I'm just literally moving bird balloons around and putting this stuff in so that it makes sense when you read it. And, and I think that's the main reason I'm still doing it, because it does something for me on that level where it's just like, I'm enjoying myself, and like I said, every Monday and Tuesday I get 2 pages from my artist Jade, right? Every now and again I'll get like 10 pages from Aurelio, and he'll just send them to me randomly, but I'll get those every 2 or 3 months. He'll be like, bam, there it is. And I'll get all these pages in one time. And it's awesome. And yes, okay, somebody posted this stuff. There you go.
Oh, Viva España!
Yes, Spain won. Spain won the World Cup.
We won the World
Spain
Cup.
won? Oh.
Yeah, Spain won. Spain won, and I swear to God, Brazil is never going to live down the fact that they got knocked out by Norway.
They got football players in Norway. I mean, what you gonna do?
Yeah, this is true.
They playing the cold.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, why I'm still here is because I have a dogged persistence that's just just got to keep on going, man. I enjoy this stuff too much not to continue. Not to mention I have the story I want to finish. And that's the big deal for me. It's like, everybody sets out to do the 10,000 page epic. Very few people get to complete it. Well, I'm gonna complete this sucker. Right. And I'm like, I'm on the 3rd act, so I'm gonna complete this sucker. Right. So that's what drives me. Daphne, you're up.
Okay, it's like I had to think about all these questions. So let's see. So there's I'm always hearing this talk about the lowering literacy rate, and there has been some like really weird writing discourse that I've been seeing about people literally complaining that authors should not use big words, should stop using big words or whatever, right? So the question that I have for everybody who's writing is how much of your writing, when you're writing, how much do you think about your audience actually understanding what you're writing? Like in terms of like themes and subtext and it's like do you write literally for your audience to like know? It's like I want them to know exactly what I want, or like I guess it's like how much do you trust your audience to dictate how you write?
Cool. Mark, what are your thoughts?
Well, I love that that you said that, because writing the first issue of a 5-issue arc, you're laying it out and you're like, what do I give the reader? I want to make sure that I'm dropping enough breadcrumbs here. The story needs to be complete in itself. And what I'm writing, is this going to satisfy them, that they're going to want to know what's going on? Because there's a lot of mystery in the story as to how these events unfold and where they're going. So I love it. It's constantly on my mind while I'm writing, and having wrote the 5 issues over the course of a year and a half, and then coming back and adjusting them was really a blessing, because I could go back and look at that and make sure there were nuances in the first issue, the second issue, that lead the story forward. But I'm still saying to myself, is this over the top? Am I hammering this over the top? Is it too vague? I want it to be vague, but I want there to be, when there are big reveals, I want people to go, oh, that was right there in the first issue. So I totally love that you said that, because it's always on my mind. The writing is it has to be good, right? I have 2 great artists working on the series, but you have to sell it to the artist to make it can be conveyed is what you're thinking, and you just want it to hit the way that you're hoping for. And it's a big question mark, I think, right?
All right, cool. Kevin, what are your thoughts?
That's a great question, actually, because I haven't really considered that too often. I just write because I'm writing for everyone, for all audiences, really, except for really young kids, but it's teeing it up. And so, I remember growing up and reading, and I would come across a word, and then I would have to go look for a dictionary and go figure out what word. So that was encouraging to me to kind of learn and as I go. I don't think I have any too majorly big words, but a lot of my stuff is kind of deep, with going into kind of philosophy in a way, with a lot of fate themes. And so, I'm using mythology and a lot of different things. And so you're going to really have to be focusing anyway. So it's really just a journey of the mind anyway. So I don't get too crazy with my words, but I mean, I think that's really just a great question. However, I don't think I have any issues with that in my story.
All right, cool. Mr. Dudley.
I approach writing differently. When I was younger, man, I used to write for the fun. I used to write for the big moments and stuff, right? When I started learning how to screenwrite and kind of understanding, the understanding to what story was, right? Mm-hmm. I started trusting them emotionally, because my stories, the stories before the emotional content became the foundation of the stories, right? So before I start the story, right? Again, I have to trust them emotionally. People, and to me, it's easy to trust people emotionally because we all go through shit, right? So I take the character before it even starts. I'll look at what the character's wound is. I say, okay, what happened to this person that is so deep emotionally that they have to feel this wound by the end of this story, right? Because to me, that's the real story. Everything else is how they relate to challenges you throw at them, and so you take that. And you take that emotional story and you basically go through stuff, 2 steps forward, 9 steps back, but eventually they get there. And I think that people can always relate emotionally. And basically that's the whole reason why you follow the character. If you relate to the character emotionally, either you like the character, you hate the character, want to see them get kicked down a flight of stairs, or they're so interesting you can't not wonder how they're going to deal with this situation, right? So those are 3 things. So that's how I attack the character, how I write. So having said that, I think that I don't have to really deal with the vocabulary thing, because it's an emotional vocabulary that I go for, if that makes any sense.
All right, cool. Fred, what are your thoughts?
So Stanley, actually, I saw a thing about this today too. They were talking about how people don't read for fun anymore, and like reading's getting diminished, and now with like shortened attention spans, it's going to become really a problem because people aren't gonna they're not gonna write for themselves anymore with AI, and they're not gonna read for themselves because they're gonna use AI to, you know, summarize everything. So I it's actually kind of a weird thing to think about where like reading is going to be in like 5 to 10 years. But specifically on your question, I don't try to worry about Stanley once said about how like if a kid doesn't know what a word is in a thing, the worst thing is, you know, what they're going to run to a dictionary. Like, oh my God, like, you know, it's good for that and stuff. And like some of, you know, when I was younger, some of my vocabulary came from being a pro wrestling fan and the words that the announcers would use and stuff. And I would, you know, something like intestinal fortitude. What does that mean? Oh, it's guts. You know, it's guts. I even used that on my Kickstarter campaign this time. So I was talking about gastrointestinal and I was like, intestinal fortitude. It still works after 20 years. So there's that element to it. As far as the material in my script, in my stories, I'm going to quote another person here. Quentin Tarantino used to say that you should always be an expert on your story. So I try to know my story better than anybody else. And my third point I was going to make is one of my other friends used to say, some people are just going to watch Fight Club and want to start a fight club. You ultimately can't control what you put out there. Some people are just going to take it surface level. So as long as I know everything that's in my story and I can point to how like this is a pattern for this and this, because like, you know, most of my stories, at least the ones I'm getting out now, are really tight in that way that I can say like this connects to this and stuff. And I try not to, you know, dumb it down. I really resented that when I was like in school and they would teach you like you have to reach the dumbest person in the audience, and then you watch like Lord of the Rings and then it's like, you know, Gandalf has to come in and remind us about first light on the first day. And I'm like, I know that already. He said it 20 minutes ago. I'm not that daft, but they're reaching the people that didn't pay attention or were like fumbling through their phone. So there's so many like rules like that where they tell you to like make sure you hammer it home 3 times or they're not going to follow. Yeah, that's a good rule if you can fit it in. But like ultimately, like, you know, we construct, we're all writers because we want to construct our ideal worlds. And I don't want to, you know, I don't want to live in a world where everything's really dumbed down and said over and over again to remind me. So, but I'm hearing nowadays, Matt Damon was like in an interview saying that like Netflix, when they were advising him and Ben Affleck on their latest project, they were saying you need to remind people of the plot every 20 minutes now because they don't follow. So it's getting really bad. Like they really don't trust people to follow now. So I don't know where it's going, but you know, right now I'm just going to keep doing my own thing and proceed business as normal.
You know, can I just add to what Fred said real quick? I love that he said it. Learning the big words like you need some intestinal fortitude, brother. Yeah. I mean, I heard that all through my SEAL training too. It was hilarious because I used to watch wrestling, but I learned so many big words from reading comics at a very young age. I knew what onomatopoeia was. I mean, yeah, just all the Cthulhu and everything else. I think big words will help people get there and they'll understand it through the context of the sequential storytelling. So I think it's a good place and let them catch up, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this question makes me ebullient, right? And yes, I paid $1 for that word. So, you know, but yeah, but that goes to answer Daphne's question is, yes, I think using more complicated language is important, right? Because, yeah, I mean, you know, I'm sorry. Like, you know, if we're going to write, you know, try to expand the language, try to use, I recently, damn it, I forgot the author's name. I was reading a book, right? It's a fantasy novel, and it's one of these old school novels, right? 70s, 60s, that sort of thing. And I'm telling you, he had words in there that not only I never heard of, but were so damn obscure, like they were hard to find. Right. We're talking about, he had words that were describing a specific sail ship that only sailed for like 20 years in the Mediterranean and a specific part on
was
that
it China
ship.
Melville?
No.
China
Melville, but no, it wasn't China Melville. It was
right. Okay, right.
But I'm just saying, like, but the thing is it made me curious enough to look up the piece, look up the word, look up that thing about the boat, and then you go down that rabbit hole of discovery, right? All of those different things. And that's the part that's interesting, is that you got to go through that process. That's how you learn stuff. You're just like, okay, now I'm gonna hit on this subject. So I think it's important, and just like a couple other people said, like reading comic books. That's how I learned a lot of these big words, and then I got into novels, and I was reading Asimov and Harlan Ellison and Roger Zelazny. And believe me, if you don't have a dictionary sitting next to you while you're reading H.P. Lovecraft or Heinlein, man, you're lost. You have to, and it's just, and for those people who can't make it through, the only thing I would say is like, keep trying, because it'll get easy, because the more words you learn, you start remembering them. You're like, oh yeah, I know what that word means. I know that word means. You just keep going, and I think it's important for us to, expand the human language. As much as it was the English language, as much as
one thing too, though, is that I have a bit of conspiracy theorist in me, in that stuff come. I hear people say things, and some of the stuff is anecdotal, right? And they'll be like, oh, well, this is the trend, this, that, and this, and this, and this, right? They're asking the same three people they've been asking for every damn thing, else. So it's like, look, if you ask a bunch of people who don't read how important is reading, what do you think you're going to get? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're not going. Look, I just was telling JD earlier, telling guys, I just came from this book fair, right? We never set up at a book fair. Okay, we do graphic novels and comics and manga and stuff, right? Daphne, I've never sold so many books in my freaking life. I mean, they were flying off.
Oh yeah.
Like, what the
that
fuck,
doesn't surprise me at all.
But the thing is, all these people are part of these people are everybody that did that thing wasn't rocket scientists.
Mm-hmm.
But they were still there for the love of reading. And anecdotally, they also say that that participation in bookstores is going up. So it's like basically, how am I squaring the two things? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And also to go back to the fortitude part, I only know the Mick Foley version.
That's the one I know. Yep. The very first book, because I had a hard time reading when I was younger. Like I was very bad with the first book I ever read cover to cover was Have a Nice Day by Mick Foley.
Yeah,
it was a good book.
Mick Foley, you talk about an intelligent guy. That's an intelligent guy. That guy.
Yeah. So speaking of learning vocabulary words, so I know that whenever I write, Microsoft Word is always scolding me for writing above a certain grade level. I think it's like it keeps scolding me for like, oh, you're writing above a 6th grade level, which is going to make difficult for people to understand your work. And there's also this piece of advice that I've also seen floating around online, is that you don't cater to the dumbest people in your audience.
Yeah, right.
But the thing is though, the so I it's like what Mark Dudley said is about, I write about emotions and emotional resonance. Right. So as long as people understand that, although it is kind of frustrating to write like these certain scenes that I would thought that would get that would hit a lot harder than it did. And then it's like finding out like, no, it was another scene that I really didn't think that much about. Right. That was the one that hit, which in the end, I find that more fascinating than frustrating, because like, oh, I wonder, but the other odd thing that I've recently started to really think about, that not necessarily in terms of like dumbing down the story, but I think it's it's kind of like the, so my series is 16 issues long. And now that I'm in like the last 4 issues of the series, I'm kind of hitting some points where it's like, do I need to kind of remind people at this point that, this, that, and the other thing, like kind of like call back to something? Like, do I actually have to call back? Like, if it was in a graphic novel, like if it was when it's all collected, it doesn't make sense to do that. But as individual issues that are spread out over time more, it kind of like, oh, do I prioritize, like reminding people, or do I just trust them, to go back to previous issues and read everything together and not worry about it?
This is the thing with that, though, right? Look, you trusted that audience to read from issue 1 to issue 16, and they're still there.
Right, yeah.
So if you're going back to show your recaps or whatever, you're trying to catch a new audience. Hey,
Right.
buddy, they'll go back and read it. If they like it, they'll
Right.
go back and read it anyway. So
Mhm.
I wouldn't worry about that personally.
Right. Yeah, because that's also the thing too, that another piece of advice that is always like, treat your work like someone is seeing it for the first time.
Mhm.
And I'm kind of wondering if that is also kind of getting in the way. Like if someone picks up my issue, like I just recently put out the volume 3, which collects 9 through 12. I'm working on issue 13, and now it's like, well, what if someone picks up issue 13 or issue 9 or an individual issue, and it's like, well, okay, well,
Are you putting a recap in the beginning of your book?
no, I just
You might
work
wanna
it straight through.
Well, I mean, when I
So-
say a recap, it's just on the inside front cover. Just give it.
Well, yeah, I know, but it's like it never occurred to me to actually do that.
But
Like
Daphne,
now-
let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Right? Do
Uh-huh.
they come to you and ask you what happened?
No.
Those people?
No. Right. So, right.
Somebody,
So,
right. And also, somebody is going to be, look, I've read books, stuff I've
Right.
read in the middle of the book story,
Uh-huh.
right? That book was so interesting, I went back and I grabbed the rest of the stuff.
right.
Because it was
Yes,
interesting.
that's because that's what I do.
Right.
Right. But sometimes, I get told it's not about what you would do, it's about what you anticipate your audience to do.
Yes, that's
So it's like, so how much do you balance that?
nah. Those are people who look. Those are mouth breathers who like hearing their own voice. That's what it is. I sound like I know something, so I'll say something. Da 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 da.
Right.
Get out of here, man.
Yeah. And the internet's full of that.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
also
no
because
doubt.
the other thing that I have to also take into consideration that a lot of the discourse is actually fake.
Right.
That it's just manufactured for people to make their coin on the engagement, not necessarily that they're actually having a problem
Right.
reading big words.
And negativity sells on the internet.
Yeah,
Negativity
exactly.
is the currency.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think there's like actually, I mean, I've seen Scott Snyder talk about this, right? How like when he does like an absolute Batman, he tries to like remind the audience who absolute Batman is without being like heavy fisted, right? Because he does recognize that somebody's jumping onto the thing. So he has like a formula where he tries to like, give us some kind of like reminder who the character is and like what he's doing, but not make it like ham-fisted. Give the character something like awesome and in character to do to like remind the audience like why they're there and whatever. And there was like a third part of that formula, but like there is a way to do it. I personally, I'm more on the side of where Mark and I think you're at is like especially since the story I'm doing now is like 7 issues and it's like smaller and you can kind of trust them. I try not to because I was gonna ask too, like, I mean, do you guys like it when I guess what are the 3 choices? Either you just continue your story straight along.
Right. Yeah.
The other one would be like the old like Stan Lee in the beginning where like I'm just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man spinning my webs down the street and he like reminds you in monologue. And then the third one is like JD referenced like the little synopsis like in the last issue, this is what happened. And I was gonna ask like what do you guys like the best, or does it matter, or like do you guys have a favorite?
You see, that's the ironic thing is that, I don't function like that.
Yeah, I don't do none of that.
I don't. I really don't.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
A lot of
I mean,
times. No, go ahead. No, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's like, it's like I like to think that my audience, that the people who are reading my book are very literate.
Mhm.
So I expect them to catch, to actually put in the effort, to read what I wrote, and if in the expanse that I've
Sure.
written it in. And yeah, and it's like, and honestly, it's like I really don't worry too much about the people who are going to resent having to work for their reading.
Yeah.
I don't that there just comes a point where there are certain types of people I don't want in my audience. And if you're the type that's going to get resentful over reading a big word, it's like, look, you can pick up Dogman at the bookstore and read that instead.
Like we do episodic work, right? So episodic work kind of works like this, and this is why I don't dumb down my audience. So the whole series have what they call a series trigger, right? The series trigger happens to the main character, right? But each episode, each chapters have the episode or their episode triggers. In those episode triggers, the main character has to be active. So every time you start a new episode or a chapter, that character is doing something. So that's going to draw you into it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I was actually going to touch on the recaps. That that was really big in the 70s and the early 80s, but page rates for artists. So they were recapping to fill. A lot of it was filler on a shorter story. It was Jim Starlin was beautiful with the recaps. Recycle a page or two of old story, but do these amazing designs down the side. But they were doing that because they were getting shorthanded on their page rates, and it was filler for a shorter story. The way things work today, for the large part, is like they are episodic, right? I'm working on a 5-issue arc, and each issue has its own contained story. I'm not going to go back and rehash that because I can tell you, you walk into your local comic shop. You mentioned Absolute Batman, and people are coming in looking for those back issues. They want the trade paperback because that Scott Snyder issue that they picked up hooked them, or the Buzz. Yeah, exactly. And you're creating this idea to go back and collect something that you put a lot of effort in. And I don't want to cut the other 4 issues short. I don't want to. I want to. I want it to be put together when it's done. Somebody can go back and reread that and just for the joy without this exposition of what happened before. So I think that's being faithful to your audience, and somebody jumping on late, they're going to want to go back and pick that up. My opinion, I think it's for the right reasons, right?
They said it only takes one good hit to become an addict.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
This is true. And listen, and not everybody likes to read a book and then has to make a premonition as to what's going to happen, right? So we're going to premonition and the fates. So, Kevin, do you want me to play this video?
Yes.
All right, cool.
This is Todd Beach creating one of my alternate covers from my 144-page.
All right. Kevin, if you wanted to talk, do it now because I heard you talking.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if her connection is good or what.
No, the music is loud.
Let the music play, but music is great. That's Todd Beats. He's going to be at the San Diego Comic-Con next weekend. I collaborated with him through the Whatnot app. That's where I met him. And he worked, he did one of my covers. We worked together on that for Premonition versus Manifest. You can see my 144-page graphic novel or trade paperback available now on Kickstarter, featuring 4 other additional covers. That's the main cover for my main artist, Marcelo Sanchez out of Chile. He's just doing a fantastic, fabulous job here. And this comprises the first 5 issues of my story. There's this cover there. So it goes a little bit about the background of the story of the book, what I do here, and when I'm showcasing comics, what my table looks like. I have the 5 issues separately available along with my graphic novels there. Here's some of the original artwork by Marcelo. He does 18 by 25 inch size poster pages for every page that he creates in the story. You guys hear me okay?
Huge.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so, his absolute work of art. I showcase at various Comic-Cons across Ohio, 6 Nicks, Gem City Comic-Con, 5 Star Comics, Jim and Dan's, and some others. I'll be at NeoCon August 2nd in Cleveland. So I got, there's some of the artwork that's showcased throughout the book. I'm working with colorists with experience in the industry, Victorio Stoney, with experience with IDW, Vault, and Image. So those are just some of the available covers throughout the 5 issues, and just information and background on the Kickstarter page that's now available. We got about 2 more weeks till Kickstarter's over. Like I said, I'll be working with Philbo Distribution soon to try to get these out across the country. And here's an alternate cover from Mario Gully, OMG, the artist. He works for Image. He's a creator of The Ant. So I collaborated with him for this cover here. It's just absolutely fantastic. Colorist Ed King Bola. So
Nice.
part of the book is colored by Ed Bola as well. Here's the alternate cover as well. So I have several covers for the graphic novel. This was a hand-painted, hand-drawn piece from Andre Osh. He's a sketch cover artist, and this took him 3 weeks to complete because he had to let it dry as he go because it's hand painted. So that's what's unique about this piece here.
Nice. So this is the first 5 issues. Is this the first arc, or is this a portion of the first arc? What do we?
Yeah, the first 5 complete the first full arc of the story. Issue 6 is in the works right now, almost completed. So I do have the books available. I'm going to be shipping these out very shortly here. Just looking to get more support. I got an artist bio here, and the story and in the book as well that you're looking at there, showcasing the artist.
Cool.
We also have a commentary by myself, Kevin's Corner, a couple pages there. Special thanks.
Nice.
And here's some of the art from issue 6. Let's speak for issue 6.
Oh, this is awesome.
Isn't that awesome?
Kicks your butt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so definitely check me out. I need some help. I got 5 backers right now. I'm always bad at marketing.
Right.
You're on Facebook, right?
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, Crooked Comics, COMIX, crookedcomics.com. I just don't have a lot of luck with trying to merchandise. Really, all my sales come from in-person Comic-Con, typically, and getting out there in front of people and getting it in their hands. So that's challenging because as they're walking by in 2-3 seconds, I have to capture the attention. So on the spot.
Yeah.
So
you got 6 backers. There you go.
oh, great. Nice.
But still, another
That's because of you guys. Thank you so much.
another 20 or 30 would be nice.
Epic fantasy. If you guys like mythology, you'll love this.
Yeah.
I'm using lesser known mythological characters before introducing my original ones.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great looking book. I've read it. It's a good book. I mean, I'm just surprised that you don't get more traction on it because it is a good book. So I don't know. So everybody, man, I mean, you got 13 more days. Go check it out. I mean, it's a good book. And it's a great paperback, so it's like all there for you.
Yeah, it's like you can't get it anywhere else, and I think it's a great story, great art.
All right, very nice.
Thank you.
Where we at? Who's next? Oh yes, the Iron Golem. Mark, do you want me to play this?
Sure, the video's actually funny. I get it quite.
My name is Michael Patrick. I'm from AMC's Comic Book Men and the manager of Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash. And I'd like to introduce you to a friend of mine, Mark Florio. He's the writer and co-creator of The Iron Golem. Yeah, and we'd like to tell you all about our new series on Kickstarter and introduce you to this amazing world. This story is born from an act of violence set in the past, where a man seeks a path of righteous vengeance. An unfinished man and an unfinished soul is born. What Mark and I have created is a generational saga, passed down through 3 different generations and the lineage of one family where It's not just about blood. It's not just about savagery, and it's not just about vengeance. It's also about hope and the continuation of familial lines. So you might be asking, why are Mark and I bringing this to Kickstarter? Well, let me tell you a little something. Comic books are expensive to produce, and all of your contributions go back into making more pages for you to read. And we would love for you to be a part. All of your contributions will be going back into the comic books.
Not only are you giving contributions, you're getting rewards. This is not a donation. With those rewards, you will find exclusive books only found on Kickstarter. We have tons of things that you can look at, only available exclusively to this campaign. And if you can't contribute, sharing this project on social media to your friends, to your family, you can take a flyer and stick it on the nearest store that you know, get everyone involved. That will be greatly appreciated for us. We need your support, and we're looking forward to it.
Help us spread the gospel of the Iron Golem.
And join the Iron Legion.
Cool. I like that.
Oh, cool.
Thanks. You know, it's funny. I see one of the people in the chat, a guy named John Koo. His brother George actually took that statement, stick it on the nearest door. I'm getting pictures all over the place of him and other people that are actually putting them up in New York, in Arizona, all over the place, which I think is great. And I'm noticing that some of the people that are contributing to the campaign are actually from those areas. So I got to say, I really do appreciate that. And, you know, the campaign is doing pretty well. And Christian Cortez did the video, which I think is hilarious. We have some great outtakes, but if you're looking at the campaign, you see two different art styles through there. One represents 1877. Ishmael Hernandez, multi-award nominated artist from Armored. He really killed it with the palette on that. We talked about, you know, the color and everything for the past and the present. And we partnered with Simone Pache for the present to give it a different look. It's purposely dark in the past, purposely bright in the present day. It represents some of what's going on in the stories and who the characters are. The cover on the right for the digital, that's the cover I did with Ishmael Hernandez. And we got to work with some amazing other artists. Will Robson and Nick Capone did that. Ishmael Hernandez colored over another Will Robson piece. The amazing Joseph Schmalke turned in a cover for us. So we've been blessed to have a great group of people. That's Simone's cover right there. And Gerald von Stoddard's got the amazing face that's dark and foreboding with the transformation of what's going on. So I really appreciate working with those people, and they've just knocked it out of the park. Christian Doklamansky's lettering on its top notch, and you just great team that we have. So.
All right, cool. Now, this is the first issue of an ongoing series?
Yes, it is. It will be a 5-issue arc.
Okay, cool. Very nice. And I mean, obviously, this is the first issue, but I mean, what are you looking at as far as the schedule? You're looking at maybe 2 times a year, 4 times a year, 5 times a year? What are you looking at?
Well, this issue's already done, so it's ready to go to print, and I'll be turning in the issue 2's halfway done with Ishmael's art, and I'll be turning in the final revisions on the other half of the script in a couple days after San Diego, and that goes right to production when this ends and Kickstarter releases the funds. So if we can get 4 issues out a year, we're going to be quite happy with that. That's our goal. A couple of things that were recently added to that part of being on this Kickstarter, I got to do a cross promotional piece with Stephen Prince. It's right coming up. Scroll up a little more. For his Monster Matador campaign, I've always loved his series. Ishmael was going to do the art with that, but he actually got sick. He's better now and he's doing well. But I was wondering what artists I might be able to reach out to that I could even afford right now. And I just said, why don't I do it myself? I've done a cover. I've done other covers. So I did that. I turned it in, and Alex Zeef colored it. I think she did an amazing job bringing my art to life. And another funny thing was we had a standee, and they needed the standee art in a pinch. It's scrolling. If you scroll back up a little bit, you find the standee. So I reached out to Nick Capone. I said, can you color my art? I'll do it real quick. And I tried to do a classic pose and didn't even realize it, but I totally aped right there. I totally aped Captain America. And yeah, one of my heroes. But I mean, it's funny, the little things that come up, and you don't even realize what you're going to end up doing. But I had the time, and I just cranked them out, you know.
Came out nice, though. It was good.
Thank you.
You know, it's really, really good. I was just going to say, like, you know, this person on your staff, this guy, where is he?
Rob
Multari. This Multari guy.
This guy. You know, Rob's a good guy.
This campaign would not look nearly as well put together if it was not for Rob Multari and his guidance on what we should do. The things I've thrown at him, like, why don't we do this? He's like, well, and he gives me all the background statistically, why I would do this, that, and the other thing. And he's been dead on. It's been a godsend. I've ruined quite a few of his nights and Sundays, including this one. For some
he likes it.
Yeah, some of my ideas.
I was hanging out with Rob last weekend.
Yeah, a great guy.
Camp City.
Yeah.
No, Rob's a good dude.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice, very nice. I'm trying to let me back this. But the artwork's really nice. Yeah, man. I mean, you got 11 days to go. You well past your goal. 167 backers. You're doing good.
Thank you. We you know, you want to get the backers up as well, and bring more people into it. You know, you start your first campaign with everybody in your phone index and whose email you have. And we are developing. We did a signing at the Secret Stash on yesterday, and we're developing new people coming in, and that's really important. They know that we're excited about it, Mike Zapsik and I, and you know, it's really been, people have been taking to it, and what we need to do is not disappoint them. I am happy to know that as soon as this is done, we can send everything out to print, and we can be on time with our delivery, you know, build confidence.
All right, cool. Very nice, man. I mean, like I said, 11 more days. Go check it out. Great looking book. You know,
thank you.
Definitely coming out.
Yeah.
Nice book. What is this? All righty. So, Mr. Dudley.
All right, so you know I'm working on Judas 7 Deaths of the Yobi. This is my web comic I've been working on. So I get a certain number of pages done, so we put it to physical comic. Like 27 now. I'm working on the second chapter right now. Now I talked about doing a Kickstarter, so I was going to do my Kickstarter in November. Something happened to where this may be getting picked up this may be getting picked up for graphic novel, right? Matari knows. So, you know, a publisher who I won't name right now, I'll just say Matari knows that they're interested in picking up for graphic novels. So I will be doing my Kickstarter to get these pages colored in October. Okay, so you know I got 3. So the graphic novel is going to be the first 3 chapters. So it's going to be 1 volume. You know, the Herbalist is what it's called. So, I'm moving stuff out of the way so that I can crank on this and get it out by 2027. The whole volume. All right. So Judas is about a guy who is a bioweapon built in our time because of his DNA. He wakes up in the future and he finds out that he has 3 orphan nieces and nephews left. And so the people who created him are now part of the government structure in the future, and they find out about the 3 nieces and nephews, and they have the same DNA, so they want to turn them into bioweapons as well. He's not going to let that happen. In the meantime, he's fighting a force that is well beyond him, otherwise known as social services. This guy, the social services, he's doing this violent work and whatever. And social services like, hey, you're not going to keep these kids doing that. So basically, he is a fry cook at the Coney Island by day. And, you know, when he can do these missions, he'll do them, you know, behind the back of social services. And there's a big 50,000-year conspiracy going on behind the scenes.
Nice. Now, how long have you been working on this project? I know we've discussed it.
I've been working on this project, dude. Look. Like I said, it started out as a superhero project, right? Mm-hmm. And somebody in Image stole, and he definitely stole the costume idea that I had, right? Because this person saw it when I was in college back in 92. One of my buddies I was working with was so happy up in Ithaca, New York, to show this to that person, and didn't think about the fact you're going to steal our shit. So, make the long story short, I started reading a lot of sci-fi stuff, and I'm like, I can do this as a sci-fi book. You know, that was back in the 90s. So it's gone through some iterations, and now I have it, you know, where I really love it. I really like where it's going. I really like the fact that it's saying things about the power structure that, you know, most people are kind of afraid to say, you know, in their books. And, you know, I couch it in candy. That means action, Hong Kong comics action, cyberpunk action. But I'm still trying to make sure I say something, because that's always been kind of what I'm about, you know. Let's do it.
Cool. Now, when are you looking to launch the campaign?
Probably be, probably too. It's going to be early October.
Early October. Okay, cool.
It's getting a bunch of stuff out of the way, a bunch of commitments that I do to helping other people. So when I get that out of the way, it's going to be all due to fist.
Nice. All right. Very good. Listen, man, I'm looking forward to it.
Me too, man. Look, I bet you I haven't been this excited in years, man, about putting out this work, man.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. Put this up here. All right, cool. Now, oh man, this guy again. All right, here we go. Fred.
You sound like my family.
Can I play the video?
Yeah, sure. Play the video. Sure. It's short.
Very nice.
Thank you, sir. So,
Dan the Dio.
So, Fisticuffs is the story of a functional drunk whose comfortable life derails when a one-night stand has deadly consequences. It is the sense of humor of the boys. You know what? For old time's sakes, it's as if John Waters and Martin Scorsese collaborated to make a comic. It would be Fisticuffs. Yes.
Cinema.
Exactly. On that line, I like to describe it as like elevated smut, right? You know, and that like it's like you take
that's where the John Waters.
Exactly. You know, it's like I like to compare it to like if you go to a restaurant and you order like a fancy restaurant and you order like a fancy burger, you get like a Wagyu patty on like a brioche bun and like some Gruyere cheese or something. It's still a burger, right? So that's kind of what Fisticuffs is, right? In that it's about like some deeply personal, dark themes of addiction and dysfunction. And like I said, a really personal story, but it also hits you with the over-the-top sense of humor of the boys and the John Waters twisted absurdity that you can expect.
Right.
So it's a 7-issue miniseries. We just finished the campaign for book 4. We still have late pledges open, so if you guys haven't yet, please get in on that, because 5, 6, and 7 are coming down the chute. It is a 7-issue miniseries. They are all drawn, and they will be released every few months until they're done. So please give it a look, and if you haven't yet, check out Fisticuffs. As Mark says, man, this is the drug. This is the hit that you're gonna want. You're not gonna be a lifer until this book is done.
Right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right. Cool. So, you said the series is already completed.
Drawn.
Right. Okay. Illustrated.
Yes.
Right. So, this is issue 3.
4.
4. Okay. Even better.
Mm-hmm.
When do we expect to see issue 5?
Issue 5 should be October, early October. I'm going to try to shoot for late September, but frankly, we're going over the colors one last time now. They're going to be sent out for letters this week, so I expect to fulfill this one pretty quickly. Knock on wood. And then 5's ready to go, and we're ready to just keep this pumping out, because shit's about to get dark, man. It's about to get dark. And we got a fantastic team too. I didn't mention them enough, but Stan Yak is I don't know if you guys have seen his art, but the dude is brilliant. My favorite artist. I always say this. I like to describe him as like a naughty Jim Lee. He does like really cool, awesome, like well proportioned, well developed action sequences. He does it this kind of like cool gritty aesthetic. It's like if Jim Lee was coloring outside the lines a little bit or being a little naughty. And we got like Timothy Brown and Robert Nugent, who developed like a beautiful color palette. It feels like a Dario Argento movie. And then Dave Sharp, veteran letterer, brings it all home, turns it into like a fully emphatic experience. So yeah, I think it's a great book. I would love you guys to check it out. So get in there and give it a shot.
Right.
All right, cool. So now this is already completed, right? So you're in late pledges at the moment?
Yes, sir. Late pledges.
All right, and how much longer are you keeping that open for?
At least 3 more weeks.
Okay, so listen, everybody. Time is short.
Mm-hmm.
Get it now. You only got 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I was hoping you would say like 3 days or 3 hours.
I know. I really effed up the lead there. I effed up the lead.
But it's okay.
Right now, it's over.
Go get it now.
That time get you nowhere.
There you go. Very nice. But it's a great looking book, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, sir.
Real quick, Jesus Christ! I almost forgot my own book. Typical of me. All right, this is the Oswald Chronicles. I got another 20 hours left. It's a story of Oswald. He's a mouse, and in this particular story, his home is invaded by a group of Calcians, and that's a race that lives in New York City along with him. And this particular race they're a bunch of magic users, and they introduce Oswald to structured magic. So it's his first time on his road to becoming a sorcerer, where he actually learns how to use structured magic. So this story is important in his genesis, and this is also the first time it's ever been in color, because I had this book out for a while in black and white, and we're finally introducing it in color. And the colors are done by David Montoya. The original art is by Jay Gonzalez, and that's pretty much it. And there you go. All right, and I got another 20 hours, so I'm gonna go back it now. All right, so Fred, your question. Nah, you're muted.
There we go. So your question was, why are you here? It's in YN Comics. I'm going to ask, what galvanized you? What was the moment, if there's a moment, whether it was something that you read or experienced, or a moment in your life that made it be like, this is where I am and I'm not moving? Because I figured everybody was going to say we're all here and we're not moving. So what was the moment that you can point to and be like, that was it?
All right, cool. Kevin, you're up.
Turn the thing on. That's a great question. It's a hard question. I'd like to give a shout out to my cousin Mike Horns for getting me back in the comics, for one. So I was out of the comic scene, for about 30 years or so. As a kid, I had comics and things like that, but I didn't really have any interest in it. But think slabs were coming out and things like that. Collection, so he started getting me into it. At the same time, Whatnot app just came out, right? So I was excited about the auctions, the giveaways. He showed me the app, and so I blamed him for getting me into comics again, becoming interested in them. I started to learn more about comics, started to buy a lot of comics, learn more about keys, and the best thing for me was finding those obscure comics I had as a kid. So that was a huge motivator because that was like a, gold nugget every time I found one of those. So I just had an idea to try to create my own comic at some point, try to come up with an original idea. And so this was all through getting reintroduced with comics later on in my life, the Whatnot app, the live streaming of the art and everything like that.
Right.
It's just something that was exciting, and just drew my creativity and things of that nature. So again, I'd like to give a shout out to my cousin Mike Corns. Without him, none of this would be possible, probably. So,
All right, cool.
That's good. I like that.
All right, Mark or Dudley.
Man, so I've been fortunate, man. This whole comic game. When that person stole my superhero stuff, I languished for a minute, and the characters started to go through all this start to morph into this different things. I'm just testing the water, seeing what's up. Some of it I like, some of it I don't. And Facebook, the advent of Facebook, I actually I have three muses. One is Octavia Butler. One is a little known writer. He's a TV writer, but I love his novels. This guy's his name is Daniel Keys Moran. And Anne Rice, huge Anne Rice fan. I've had a chance through Facebook to actually correspond with all three of them. And their whole thing was this. Okay, it's gonna be hard. What we did was hard. If you can't take it being hard, go somewhere else. But they liked what I was doing. They liked, they said they liked that it was original because my thing is, JD, my background. I lived in New York for a while. I'm a huge underground hip hop guy, right? So hip hop is my culture. I infuse it in everything, right? Mm-hmm. And I love cyberpunk. Big Mus Munishiro guy. Love Ghost and Shell. Love Appleseed, right? Yeah. So being able to infuse all that stuff together and still keep my voice, again, was important. So I kind of that is what galvanized me. Listen to people that I really respect telling me that, hey, look, you're doing something, you're doing something different. It's gonna be hard, yeah, but we seen your roadmap, we think you can do it. So that's what really galvanized me.
Awesome.
Cool. Mark, what are your thoughts?
So for quite a while, I had done some background work in comics. Rich Margopoulos, who's writing for Vampirella and did the Edgar Allan Poe series with Richard Corbin. I worked with him for years, so I would work and look at his scripts and design some of his character stuff. I even designed the second issue cover for the Edgar Allan Poe. They were talking about the different covers they had, and they did a really great hand motif coming out of the grave with a crow, a raven, obviously, a raven on top of it. And I said, stick with the hand motif. And they were doing the telltale heart. So I had drawn the hand coming up in the darkness with a bleeding heart and just blood dripping down. Sent it to Corbin, and 2 days later, it's like, he loves it. He's going to do that book, do that cover. So I'd always been skirting around the industry with different things. And when I pitched my concept for my book, The Iron Golem now, what publisher was big on it. They were going to do it. They liked that. I was partnering with Mike Zapsik and the team we had designing our characters based on my concepts. And then he pulled the plug after he paid about half of the money out to people and then did not pay the rest, and just just pulled the plug and said, we're done. His reasons. And I that galvanized me right there. I was like, I'm not letting this go. You opened up Pandora's box right here. And I am not leaving these guys high and dry. I'm not going to do that because it's my reputation for all these people that I've met and worked with. So I was determined in that moment to pay them to pay for the rest of the series. And I too was on Whatnot. I still am. I'm Flo Mark Comics on Whatnot, and I have a pretty big following on there. And I've used Whatnot to actually supplement, and my stream knows that, my creation of this book. So I was determined to not, I'm not gonna. This is not ending because you're not here. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna do it. We're actually gonna do it our way now. So it's actually better. And there's no way you were going to take it from our hands. This is what we're going to make this. And I paid off and paid everyone who did work on that book. And moving forward, we've paid into 6 issues now. So Mike and I, and we're not letting it go. So that was the moment.
All right, that's cool. I like that.
All right, cool. Daphne, before you answer, I just saw the link.
Oh, yeah, because I put it in at the last minute because I forgot that I am on my campaign is done.
You want me to play the video?
No, it's not necessary.
Well, we need that video.
Okay,
Play the video.
All right, so play the video.
See? Y'all voted.
Yes. Yeah, so like I said, the campaign is over, but it's not out. Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, Volume 3 is available as late pledges. So if you missed out on the campaign, you can head on over to the link and still pick up the core books of the campaign. And Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, is the story of a unicorn princess exiled into the mortal realm who trains to become a knight, hoping to win a king's favor and save her people. In Volume 3 of this 4-volume series, Eagle Raven survives the ordeal of the tower, emerging with the title of Knight of Turnham. As she returns to her enchanted kingdom, the stakes rise as she realizes the dragon lords are attempting to resurrect a goddess and start a war against the realm. After refusing a tempting parley with her ex-fiancé, the elf Prince Rillian, Eagle Raven is forced to assert her rightful claim to the throne of Edenron in a challenge brought by rival elves who resent her return. Eagle Raven is the story of trying to find your place in opposite worlds and learning the people who will stand by your side and lift you up are not the ones you'd expect. It's a sword and sorcery fantasy with a soap opera twist, featuring character relationship centered stories with unicorns, elves, dragons, and furries. And like I said, you can pick up the core books, which is volumes 1, 2, and 3, and a couple of select add-ons until I close the campaign completely, because I'm ready to send my files out to the printer. So hopefully hopefully in the next couple of days I can finally get everything out, and then in a couple of weeks I'll be able to fulfill this completely. So you have a couple of days left on late pledges to place your orders, and then and then that's it. You have to wait for the next campaign, which will be issue 13, which I'm gunning to either launch either September or October at the latest.
All right, cool. So it's funny that you said that you don't like recapping, but you just recapped the whole story.
Right. But yeah, you see that's the thing. I figured that I'm recapping it now, so I don't need to put it in the book.
What if you sell it at a con?
I have to recap it anyway. Yeah, but I don't have to physically put it in the book. Although technically the back cover is a recap. But it's not in the story itself.
Yeah. No. I mean, like just a recap, just a general recap. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the in-book recap.
Right. Yeah. That's kind of where I was leaning, because it's like, if you're really interested in the book, because it's like, look, when I first discovered Rocket Raccoon, it was on the second issue.
Right.
I didn't care. I went and made sure I got all of the issues, all 4 issues, so I could read the series. It didn't occur to me that starting on issue 2 was a problem. So I expect everyone else to be an adult about this.
Fair enough. So you got how many more days you're gonna leave it open for?
Probably by Wednesday I'll close late pledges.
Okay. See, so order it now. See, Fred? Yeah. That's how it's supposed to be.
Right. Yeah.
Lesson learned.
There you go. All right.
There we go.
So Daphne, answer the question.
What was the question?
It's a good question too, damn it.
Right.
What
galvanized? Right,
yes.
right. What galvanized? I don't know if I could really say, like, when I first got into it, something galvanized me. Like I said, I met JD in high school, and around that time I was going to an art high school. And around that time, I really didn't know what I was doing or what I was like planning on doing. Actually, I did kind of, but I wasn't really committed to it. My original like path was to be an animator. But once he introduced me to doing comics, it was like I was hooked. Like that was it. Like there was no veering me off that path. Right. So there wasn't really a point where it's like, oh, I don't know, like it didn't feel like, it just felt like I just naturally got into that path. Right. But if there was an actual galvanizing, I think it was around COVID, where I had all this free time like everybody else did. And by then it's like we were already, like familiar with Kickstarter, and that's when I really decided that I was going to work on Eagle Raven, this book, in earnest. Up until that point, it was just a side project that I was just posting to my website whenever I felt like it. It wasn't really something I was seriously doing, even though I had 5 issues by that point. But that was the moment that I decided, it's like, look, I have to like make a decision with this book. Am I going to actually do it and finish it, or, whatever? And it's like, okay, you know what? Everything, it's like combined with, POD and Kickstarter. It's like, you know what? If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this now. And that's when I started watching a lot of videos on YouTube about how to color comics, actually color comics. And I started coloring my pages, my 5 issues. And then by the following year in 2021, I put out my first issue. And here I am at issue 13, and it feels like I'm on a freight train. Like once I got that first issue out, it was just like, okay, I got to keep going until I hit the end.
Right.
And now I'm in like the last 4 issues, and it's kind of freaking me out, but it's like, you know what? We're almost there. We're almost at the finish. It's kind of like those last 3 miles of a marathon right now. That's where the race actually starts.
Right. So you got to pace yourself. right?
Yeah. So that's so I guess like that would be the part that so I had like two galvanizing things. I don't know, but that whole Eagle Raven thing felt more of that than actually getting into comics to begin with. But it might be because I was like really young when that happened.
Right.
So like I said, it just felt natural.
It's dope.
Cool. Probably have two moments as well. So the first one was I was probably 15 when it happened. I was reading the Comic Buyer's Guide as a newspaper that used to come out weekly, and I used to get it mailed to me, right? And it was all about comic books. And in there was an article about these two guys from Massachusetts who had done good, and there's two guys who had done the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They had a picture in there, right? And I was like, oh wow, if those two guys can do that, and I've been chasing that sucker ever since, right? So that's one. The other one was when, like at this point, I had already done my first company, which was Golden Realm Unlimited. That's where I met Daphne. I met Matt Lunsford. I met Zach Leninson. I met a bunch of other guys who worked with a bunch of other people. Had already done my work over at Pioneer and what is that? Damn it, Daphne. What was the company we worked for that we did La Blue Girl?
CPM?
Central Park Media, yes.
Yeah.
So we already done that work. And then I had just gone back to work. And I had a windfall of cash fall into my lap, right? And I was like, most normal people, they'll buy a car or they'll go on vacation to save money for their retirement. No, I was like, no, I'm gonna do a comic book, right? And I was reaching out to various artists, and I reached out to this one artist, Jade Gonzalez, and she had sent me rates. I wasn't looking for a comic book artist. I was looking for pinups. I was looking for small illustrations to go with my pro stories. And she had given me a page rate, and I was like, "Whoa, I can afford that." Now that I have this big lump of money, so I was like, "Okay," and I spoke to her, and I was just like, "Okay," and we worked something out. And I think at that point, that's when I was like, "I'm in," and that was it, because I burned through that 5K on that project, and then I was playing poker for a while online, and I pulled a bunch of those winnings out to pay for the next one. And then Kickstarter hit. Then Kickstarter came around, and then that was it. I just got on Kickstarter, started doing that. So those are my two moments. So
Nice.
Fred, answer your own question.
Yeah, I guess my big one, when I was like 18, 19, I was in school and I had to write a prose piece for a creative writing class. And that's like out of my depth. Like I was mostly a script guy at that point, like really basic stuff. And I figured I actually wrote what became the first issue of Fisticuffs, including, I don't know if anybody here's read the first issue, but like the big scene at the end. And I wrote it because like I figured like the character's voice I could get, and like I kind of had to deal with like kind of serious subject matter that I kind of understood already. So I was like, I can make a story out of this. And we got to our creative writing class that week, and the way that they were done, like we were reviewed anonymously. So you would get like a packet with like 3 stories in it, and there'd be no name. And at the end of it, we'd have like an open forum, and we'd all like review them. And mine was the second story in the packet. So as I'm getting near the end of the first story, I hear people start laughing, and like then it gets bigger, and people are getting like really into it, and then like they're holy shitting, and they're elbowing each other, and they were like really, really into it, and like it was kind of like the dream reaction that like I think we all have, want, like when we're like writing, like to have something that people react in real time and like not know you're sitting there. So we got to like the open forum, and everybody was going on about how much they liked it, and after a while, because I was kind of an asshole, I started like antagonizing my own work, like trying to like pick it apart. And then like they would kind of come back and defend it against me and tell me why I was wrong and why it was really good and stuff. And it was, I just remember like walking back from that classroom back to my dorm room that day and being like, okay, I'm a writer now. Like that was like Mark said, that was the drug hit that I needed, that I've been chasing ever since, was that like, you know, that kind of idea of like people getting into an idea that I had in a story that I wrote. And yeah, it was kind of, you know, felt very ethereal.
That
like
high,
everything.
that high must be tough to
Yeah,
make.
buddy, that dopamine hit.
Oh yeah,
I dopamine hit, not a dopamine
Yeah.
hit.
And the funny thing is, Fisticuffs is all about addiction too. So obviously, I'm not over it completely. I'm still chasing it in a different way. But yeah, that was probably it for me when I was like, you know, and right before that, I'd been radicalized by seeing like just like I saw like some Kevin Smith movies, and because he was, you know, from Jersey as well, you know, I grew up kind of near you, Mark, like an hour away from Red Bank, and because Kevin Smith, you know, was a guy from our neck of the woods who made his own stories. I was like, he was the one who I first emulated. You know, I wanted to make, my first two stories were like this one, which was something really personal, which was like my Clerks, and then the other one, which was just like a you know, dirty joke movie, like my Mallrats and stuff. So like, I kind of tried to emulate him and stuff early on and stuff, and the one survived. The dirty joke movie didn't make it a cut, but yeah, that was it.
All right, cool. All right, so here I got another one for you guys. What was your greatest failure, and what did you learn from it? Mark, you're up.
Was it Florio, F or D?
Huh?
Is it F or D? Mark D and Mark F.
Oh, Dudley, I'm sorry.
All right. Man. My biggest failure. I've been racked by fear my whole life when it comes to comics, man. Because, you know, the people who I compare myself to, I've always been in my group out of my reach, but I still compare myself to them, right? So back in the day, it was Byrne. Byrne was my shining, was my guiding light. And obviously I wasn't Byrne, right? Later on, it was Jim Lee. And I'm like, man, I ain't Jim Lee or whatever, right? So that held me back for years. I watched a lot of my peers become professional guys, right? Like me and Sanford Green used to run around at cons together.
Right.
You know, me and even like a Fool Richardson, and I've been knowing them all for a minute. All them dudes kind of superseded me, right? And so as I look back, you know, I'm kind of happy that I waited, but I wonder if I hadn't had that fear, how much sooner I would have been a professional comic. I think that held me back big time.
All right. And what's your big takeaway?
Hey, buddy, it's like, look, now, you know, I'm teaching again, and I tell people I used to go through and be like, oh, you know, you got to learn all this, learn all that. The person I'm teaching right now, it's like, I'm going to help you tighten up your anatomy, and I'm going to help you tighten up your perspective. And the next thing you're going to do while you learn all the rest is you're going to start doing the comic strip. You're going right in. I don't hold up anymore. I teach them what they need to know, and I push them. I push them off the satellite dish.
You're like, fly.
Yeah, fly. Because I'm there. I'm like, you're not gonna fall. I'm gonna catch you, but you're definitely gonna fly.
Cool. I like it. Mark, what are your thoughts?
So it's the biggest fear or failure?
Failure.
Well,
biggest failure.
What's that?
In comics.
In comic. No, I get that. The biggest failure I had was not knowing enough about the industry. I'm well versed over 50 years of being on this earth and reading comics and behind the scenes, everything else. I didn't have enough avenues when making a comic. It wasn't about being able to make it. It was about, how do I get this out there? And my biggest failure was putting all that into the hands of a publisher that controlled. I had the rights to all my characters, but they controlled the destiny. And that was my biggest failure, because when they pulled the wind out of our sails, blew the wind out of our sails, I had to scramble. I had to take my time and gather what it was that we already had, and had to understand what I needed to fulfill that the rest of the project. And I overcame it in kind of a serendipitous way. Joel Rodriguez and David Byrne came up to do a signing for State 7 at the Secret Stash. And I knew I do background on everybody. I can't help it. It's part of my military background. So I knew who was coming. And
that's that CIA check I saw.
Yeah.
Right.
You still talk to me, Mark, after all that shit?
I mean, I like to do deep dives and understand everything I can aspects. And I knew I had great respect for David already, and I knew Joel's background. And we were sitting there, and I said to Mike when they came, "Hey, maybe we can talk to him about our book and see what we can do." I had already known how I was going to move forward paying for it, but needing to break through and have someone help us to fulfill those next steps. And sure enough, it was as simple as, and I was so nervous, talking to Mike on the side by the counter in the Secret Stash. They could have been filming it like one of the episodes of Comic Book Men. Right. So we just broached the subject, and they were like, Joel's like, "Well, let's just talk, because I do concept to comic, and one thing right from there, it just led to, opening up doors and knowing exactly that I was on the right path, and that they both mentored me. It wasn't just here, do it. It was they're mentoring me. I'm actually part of Metal Ninja Studios too. I have a job with them as well now, but so they literally got me through the rest of that. Now I have a much better understanding of how to bring it to market.
Cool. Kevin, what are your thoughts?
Man, I'm also have a military background. I was in the Air Force. What about you, Mark? Were you in the Navy?
Navy, yes. It's the bone frog that gives it away.
Yes, that's what's cool about part of our story, is having a veteran-owned business or comic line and things of that nature. So I don't really emphasize that too much in my thing, and it's something I really should try to do more often. So that's why I brought it up, because I got you here talking about it. But I think the greatest failure you can do is to quit. And so me and my background in the military, I never quit. I'm always persevere no matter what, if I have a goal. And to give an example about that, I did the first 2 issues with a whole nother artist and then started over from scratch.
Right.
After I put in $30,000. Okay. And what I got was a better product. And so don't let, because I still had that goal. I still had that dream. I still, you know what I mean? And so to give up, that would have been a complete loss. I don't think I'm there now. Right. I have a better product. All the work is hand drawn. I love the artist. I was able to manage the product better, the project better, because my first artist, he was doing everything. I found him on Upward. He was doing it. He was doing the colors, the letters, the drawing, everything, but it was all digitalized, So this enabled me to grow a little bit more, and I basically learned as I went, and to manage the project. So that now I'm working with a separate artist, I'm working with different colorists, I'm working with letters, and I'm still, and that's helping me grow and evolve and adapt. And so basically it's just adapting and overcoming. Right. And so overall it was an evolution, but a couple of mistakes along the way I made was not having the final idea set before I'm running with it. And so I kind of learned that in the beginning, because I had a different company name. I was just running with something. I was putting it on his label. It evolved into Crooked Comics, used to be Premonition Productions, right? So then, finally, my last big failure supposedly was the shipping, because I had, I had to learn as I go so much. So I'm taking a lot of hits financially. So I was working with Print Ninja and shipping out larger quantities than I needed, taking 2 months.
Right, exactly.
Like that. And I'm printing books that I'm throwing away that have Premonition Productions written on it. That it's not helping my my logo or any my brand, my name brand, and things of that nature. And so just having the final idea before you go running with it, you got to be absolutely sure. And so, just financial failures basically. But in the end, I learned a lot, was able to manage the project a lot better, and I have a better product.
Very nice. Very nice. Good. Fred.
Well, it's a shame you limited it to comics, because when you said like what would be your biggest failure, I wanted to start with my kidneys, but that didn't, because that happened once. But if we're gonna limit it to comics,
we'll limit it to comics.
I'm gonna say not so much a failure, but it would be like Mark talked about fear and stuff, and it would be like putting like tasks off and things, and wasting time out of like fear, right? Whether it's like afraid of a confrontation or afraid of a mishap, or if this goes wrong, and this thread will derail everything. So, if there's something that I regret most of all about like my comic, is that it took so long to get out. Like, I'm glad that it's, kept the way it came out and how it's going now. But, there are people, who are no longer here, that I wanted to share it with. A big part of it getting done would have been to share with like my mom and my best friend, who, both passed on over the course of making it. So, there's always that part of me that's like, if I had, hustled a little bit more, could I have, gotten the book in their hands, but you never know. And I didn't know that was going to happen. But I would say in general, what I got out of that was more like charging into things now and trying not to let things go on. Like, if something's on my shit to do list for like, a couple of days now, I tend to be like, all right, enough's enough. Like, like if I'm not, I try to tackle things more proactively now. But yeah, not a failure. I got a funny one though.
Go ahead.
And I will preface this. I might not tell this story, but Daphne did, open the door with the John Waters earlier, so I feel like okay to tell this story. But my first comic, there was one scene, where like a guy was in a shower, and he was a little tiny guy, and he was around these really big muscular dudes, and it was like a little line about, like felt like a sad hobbit in the presence of glorious elves, right? And he's in the shower, and then like the dudes around him were naked, okay? And I drew the layouts, so yes, I drew them naked, right? It's my first comic book. Well, the artist kept drawing dicks and in the book. And
what?
One.
That.
What?
That. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. You should have led with that
one.
You can buy that book here. No, but the funny thing was, is like, and like I it was my first book, and I didn't want to say anything, and I didn't think it was, and it was a book about like, gin culture and stuff. So I didn't, and people would tell me that too. I'd be like, oh, it's a book about like masculinity and stuff, and nobody would, whatever. And it wasn't a big deal, because like it didn't take anything away from the book, other than like, people tended to notice that first. Like, a lot of reviews were like, yeah, it's a good book, but oh my God. So, so I guess the lesson I would say out there is definitely like a Goldilocks amount for numbers of penises in a comic book. But I think we had like 7 pages in a 28-page comic. That's a bit too much, so yeah, I would say that would be my advice for other, like, just,
Tighter
dicks, judiciously use your dicks.
There you go.
Well,
use them judiciously.
Yeah. What would be the total number of penises that you would
I've never done the research, Mark. I've never done the research. I would say
958.
Somebody should figure out the Goldilocks amount for that, because there is.
Well, I mean, it's like, look, you had 7 pages more, probably 7 pages and 5 panels more than DC was able to get away with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
right, cool.
I can only say that we're in the same realm as Batman in one regard. But let me tell you this though. But then, a sub B advice to this: if you do make a book with that many penises in the thing, do not look into your followers' profiles. Just don't.
Yeah, followers, what are you doing over there?
Yeah, for the wrong reasons. Some of them.
It's probably all for the penises.
Yeah, some of them.
Daphne. What are
I don't. I don't really think about failure because failure. There's something so final about failure, and it's like, and I always think that if something goes wrong, it could always be rectified at some point. I have hella regrets.
okay?
Yeah, it's like, but I wouldn't say anything was like a failure. But yeah, like I have like a lot of regrets. Like the one main one that kind of like irks me sometimes. Well, there's two major ones really. Is if I like held myself back by not treating this as a business, like I always took it as like, this is just something that I'm doing, but never like in a very organized way. And especially like when I watch like these artist alley girlies, on YouTube, where it's like, they're selling their stationery, they're selling their tchotchkes, and they're running like legit businesses doing that. And I'm like, and I watch them and I go, did I take the wrong turn at Albuquerque somewhere? It's like, it's like, because it's like I feel like sometimes I feel like the way like they organize what they do, it's like sometimes I feel like, did I miss something by not looking at my stuff like that? But then I get over it, especially once I had an accountant tell me you don't run a business. I'm like, well, good, I'll stop worrying about it. But sometimes I have that, that thought in the back of my head. But like the other main regret I have is not finishing Tall Tales before I started Eagle Raven, because now I'm at a point where I can't even think about anything else until I finish my 16 issues. Because ironically, it's because I don't want to do the same mistake with Eagle Raven that I did with Tall Tales by not finishing those last 2 issues. So, but I know I'm going to get back to that. So, like I said, it's like I don't consider it a failure, just a big misstep that I should have kind of like thought a little bit more back then. But yeah, it's like failures. No, I don't fail. Regret, I got tons of it.
Yep.
All right, that's cool.
I just fell off that horse, but I got back on.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Well, so back in the day, Daphne and I would go to San Diego. We did like 6, 7, 8 years in a row. Something like that. So we did a bunch of years. We would go there, and one of the sections we would see in there was the toy section, right? And they had the vinyl toys, and we would see all these fantastic looking sculptures from all of these great artists.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like, oh, it'd be really cool if we got into that, if we did something like that, right? And I remember I researched for 2 years. 2 years I researched this thing. Found a guy. He said he would broker the toy manufacturing for us, right? And he did a great job. Great job. We produced this toy right here.
Yeah.
Silverman.
One
of the characters from our comic book Tall Tales, right? This is the black and white version. Daphne got the full color version.
Yeah, this is the main version. Yeah.
And his little arms move up and down, his little head moves or whatever. And we produced, I don't know, 1,300 of these, right? Probably could have bought a car, brand new.
No, probably. We could have.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah. And here's the thing. I remember I got the shipment for these, and 2 weeks later, the economy crashed.
I think it was like the first
Or
the
the
housing market, the housing bubble.
I believe
I think it was
2008.
Yeah.
How many of those do you have left, JD?
Probably about 400 or 500.
Wow.
Yeah,
they're cool looking. I would want one.
Dude, if I got a nickel for every time somebody told me how great they look, they'd be paid off.
I'll give you a nickel for that. Sure.
Yeah.
Just like for the effort.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Just PayPal me the nickel, please. Thank you.
Sure.
You see, he considers that a failure. I consider it a regret.
Right.
Yeah, that's not a failure. I mean, that's
because I did so much research on it.
Right,
and the distributor reached out to me. He told me, he said, Jay, if I had these a year ago, I'd have sold out.
Right.
You know, and I was just like, son of a bitch.
Right.
You know, but we do sell them. Like when we were doing the Tall Tales campaigns, we were selling like 3 or 4 of them per campaign. And I mean, we go to shows, we occasionally sell a few there. And I mean, I hate calling it a regret because they look great, right? And I have them on my shelf, and it looks
well,
really
it
good.
is a regret.
Yeah.
It is a regret. It's not a failure. It's a regret.
Yeah, that's true. But you
because
know,
even the money that we spent on it, we technically got back.
Yeah. We technically have kind of sort of broken even at some point. I don't know what point, but it happened.
Right.
Bro, I guarantee there are so many creators out there that wish they could have their own action figures, and every one of them have like driven in a car before and don't think 2 shits of it. So I think having your own action figure is pretty cool, man.
It's funny. I had a friend of mine tell me the same thing. He was like, dude, you did something very few other people have done. And
yeah.
You know, and I was just like, yeah.
Okay.
But you know, I was like, yeah. Sure. I was like, thank you for making me feel better. You know, let's have a burger.
Right.
You know?
and JD, on the bright side, you can take Uber now. So
there you go.
You don't need a car.
Well, actually, now we have a car.
We take the train, so that's
right. But now we have a car.
Yeah, now we have a car. That's true.
I'm sure you give one of those to an Uber driver, he won't charge you. He'll just take you where you want to go.
Yeah.
He doesn't get shit like that every day.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my thing with that. So, you know. All right. Lady and gentlemen, we made it to hour 2. Thank you so much. You guys doing great. So let's start with Kevin. Where can we find you and your work?
August 2nd, I'll be at NeoCon in Cleveland. I'm basically been on tour this year with the Comic Cons, going up to Cleveland, Akron, Canton, Dayton, Ohio. I live in Columbus, couple out here in Columbus. So you can catch me there. Also online at crookedcomics.com, COMIX. Also Instagram and Facebook of the same name. On Kickstarter now for another 13 days. Check out Premonition and the Fates of Destiny, the Yogan. Thank you.
All right, cool. Mark, where can we find you and your work, sir?
Which one? F or D?
Oh, Mr. Florio.
I'll be heading out to San Diego Comic Con in a couple of days. I'll be there with Metal Ninja Studios, and then coming back to Jersey, where I'm a featured artist in Artist Alley, a featured creator in Artist Alley, for the Super Jersey Comic Expo. You can find me at local comic shops around New Jersey, bonefrogcomics.com online. My Kickstarter with Mike Zapsik is live right now. Iron Golem, you can check it out there, and all over socials with a variation of my name. So you look up Mark Florio, you'll either find Arrest Records or you'll find both.
Gotcha. Well, you're going to San Diego?
Yes.
So if you see Tom Hutchison, he'll be with the Antarctic Press booth, right? If you see him, let him know that JD said stop slacking, okay?
I will. Tom Hutchison.
He could have done the show with his car.
Right.
Got it.
Mr. Dudley, where can they find you and your work, sir?
You can find me find my work at ImagineThoseWorkshop.com, Judafest, thecomicseries.com, and I'm going to be doing a couple cons in the next couple weeks. We're doing double duty one weekend, so we're going to be doing Web Comic Con in Ferndale, Michigan, You know, it's a great con because it's all about web comics. You know, and we're also going to be doing Michigan Anime. I'm going to be doing a seminar there. I love doing seminars, so I'm going to be doing a seminar there. And then in mid-August, I'm probably going to be doing a seminar over at Ann Arbor Anime Con.
All right. Very nice. Fred?
Mm-hmm. You can find me at Schwartz Art LLC on all the main socials. You can find me at www.schwartzart-llc.com. And of course, on Kickstarter, Fisticuffs Book 4 is still accepting late pledges, where you can get books 1 through 4, get caught up in the series. And in the add-on section, we have a book called Hard Body, and it's the one loaded with all the dicks. So if you wanted to check that out, you can add it on to your order. So yeah, a little story, a little penis, just a
little bit.
Well, yeah.
That's all right. One day I'll show you a book that I did one time called Girls with Terror X.
Oy.
Girls with what?
Girls of Terror X.
Of Terror? Okay, cool.
Terror is Terror XXX.
Gotcha. We should do a crossover where like our characters.
That one too. I don't think you want to do a crossover with this one.
There's another story right now where I have to use pen name.
Howard.
Yep.
Oh, you're correct, Daphne. Absolutely.
Look at this new book from DJ Calderon. Really
Right.
good.
For Ron Hightower.
There you go. Or we'll go with the other guy said DC Calderon. There you go. Yeah. So Daphne, where can we find you? Your work?
If you want to learn more about me and my artwork and all my upcoming campaigns, you can head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS, where you can actually read Ego Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn for free. But if you prefer your fantasy to be more of a furry Lord of the Rings adventure, you can follow the link over to Tall Tales, TAILSonline.com, and you can read the archive of over 1,000 pages there. If you prefer, both Ego Raven and Tall Tales is available on Webtoon as well. And also, Ego Raven Volume 3 is on late pledges on Kickstarter. So pick it up before I close that to start fulfillment. So.
Okay. All right, very nice. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those different places. This Tuesday night with Rob Montoya back on YouTube. Trying to help out individual creators on their campaigns. Back next Sunday with another group of fine guests. And don't forget, the Oswald Chronicles currently on Kickstarter and Dreamweavers also currently on Kickstarter. So please go check those out. And just remember, everybody, go check out the show notes. In the show notes are links to all of these creators' campaigns. Click on those links, buy those books. All of these creators are making great books. They make just telling fantastic stories from their own voice. This isn't corporate stuff. This is all stuff that's coming from a place, from a human. You understand? It's not corporate mush. It's not a bunch of people in a boardroom saying, oh, let's do this. No, this is individual creators making their individual works with their individual voices. So please go check them out. And just remember, everyone, read more indie comics, especially ours. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.